A list of
Okay, so we'll start the Gita part. So would anyone want to read the Guru Pranam first? Any volunteers? I know you guys know how to read it. Okay, Adya, do you want to read Guru Pranam?
Um, I don't know where the prayer sheet is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Um, let me try to find it. And then I'll just, okay. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, is it the one that says like Gita Pad Bidi?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is your Guru Pranam. So you start off with saying Om Tat Sat 3 times, and then this one is your Guru Pranam that you'll read.
Om Akhanda Mandalakaram Yatam Yeno Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yeno Tasmai Sri Gurave Namo.
Thank you. Anyone wants to do the Dhyanam? Oh, Arshi, go ahead.
अथ श्रीमद्भगवद्गीताध्ययनं वासुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचानूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्.
Thank you. Good. So there's only one word that I want to say. You see, the first word of the first Dhyanam, that's Vasudeva. So you wouldn't say it as Vasudeva because Sutam means son. So Vasudev is Sri Krishna. So you're saying his father, which is Vasudeva Sutam. That means Vasudev's son, which is Vasudev, which is Krishna. A little confusing, but instead of pronouncing it as Vasudev, it would be Vasudev. So it would make more of like an O sound. Ishan, can you stop writing on the screen? Thank you. Um, but yeah, so it'd be Vasudeva instead of Vasudeva, okay? Okay, thank you. So we'll open up our Gitas now. Who remembers what verse we stopped at last time? Anyone? Okay, we have one answer, 11. I think we stopped at 13. I think that's where we stopped. Or 14. I think we read 14 and then we stopped there. But we'll start again from verse 11. Everyone ready? Everyone have their Gitas? Okay, if everyone has it, press the thumbs up button. I want to see if everyone has it. Okay, wow, that's a lot of thumbs up. Okay, good. So we'll go to chapter 2. And before you read any chapter, you have two lines that you have to say. So when you're reading the chapters, you have to introduce the chapter in Sanskrit and then you have to say the name of the chapter, okay? So for this chapter is called Shankha Yoga, and we'll see later what Shankha is, and why it's called, that's the name of the chapter. But when you first read the Gita, you have to start with Ataha Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and then you insert the chapter. So, for example, for this one, we're reading the second chapter. It'll be Ataha Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ditya Adhyayaha. And then you say the name of the chapter, Shankha Yogaha. So now we'll go to verse 11 and then we'll read on from there. I'll read it once, I'll break it apart, and then you repeat after me, and then we'll do it all together the third time. And then, Aditya, do you want to do the meaning after each verse then?
Yeah, we can go ahead and do that.
Okay. Okay, verse 11. Sri Bhagavanu Vacha Ashuchananvashuchastvam Pragyavadamscha Bhashashe Gatasuna Gatasumscha Nanushocanti Panditaha. So now I'll break it apart and you repeat after me. Ashuchananvashuchastvam Pragyavadamscha Bhashashe Gatasuna Gatasumscha Nanushocanti Panditaha. Now we'll do it together. Ashuchananvashuchastvam Pragyavadamscha Bhashashe Gatasuna Gatasumscha Nanushocanti Panditaha.
Okay. So this verse, we see like based upon the philosophy which was that Arjun had like kind of brought up in his mind, Bhishma and Drona were not to be mourned for, right? That's what the verse says. And I mean they are great people, which is the virtue in showing. So Sri Krishna is saying, what is the virtue in showing pity for them? So it says Ashochan, meaning they're not to be grieved over. They're great people themselves. Anna Shochastum, you are feeling so much grief. Pragyavadam Shubhashishe, and yet you are speaking wise words. Gata Shuna Gata Shumcha Nanu Shochanti Pandita. Under that philosophy, Pandita, wise persons, will not grieve over for the dead or the living, right? So that is like the broken down version of the verse. And in your Gita, if you have the bigger one, it should say, you are mourning for those who should not be mourned for. Yet you speak like a wise man. The truly wise never weep, either for the dead or for the living. So so Sri Krishna is saying, if you're truly wise, you should not be like crying over or showing grief over those that are alive, as well as those who are dead as well. Does that make sense? Yes. It may literally make sense, but do you guys kind of understand like what Sri Krishna is trying to say here? Because like from here on, the teachings you'll read, like they get kind of like they're not as like surface level as like I would say chapter one was. It's a little it requires a little more thinking to kind of understand the deeper meaning of these verses. But for now, I guess we can just discuss, like the meaning that's in front of us. So yeah, so that was verse 11.
I think I just want to add on to that. This verse specifically is kind of the beach or the seed of the Gita, because technically this is where like the main teachings start. this is when like it's not as easy to understand that like, oh, it's like moving away from like describing the battlefield to more, I guess, more of the teachings and more of like what we're going to see like the philosophy of like Shankha. So I think that's why this verse is considered the beach. And then you can see that in a different um mantra, like when we read the Gita, we say that first part, like Ashochanam Vashochastvam Pragyavadam Srimpashashe, and then we say Iti Bijam. So the significance of this verse is um it's pretty big when you consider kind of like when the teachings start. And we discussed that kind of chapter two is kind of like this transition point from chapter one, where it's like the battlefield, to more of like Arjuna surrendering to Sri Krishna or to God, and asking for his help and guidance. But yeah, so we'll move on to verse 12. न त्ववाहं जातुनाशं न त्वं नेमे जनाधिपः न चैव न भविष्याम सर्वे वायामतः परम् न त्वेवाहं जातुनाशं न त्वं नेमे जनाधिपः न चैव न भविष्याम सर्वे वायामतः परम्. Now we'll do it together. न त्वेवाहं जातुनाशं न त्वं नेमे जनाधिपः न चैव न भविष्याम सर्वे वायामतः परम्.
Okay, um, so this is a very interesting verse as well. So here we see it says, Natvevaham jatunasha, meaning not at any time in the past, indeed, was I not. And then Natvam name janadipa, nor you, nor these rulers of men. Nacha eva na bhavishyama, and nor ever shall we cease to be. Sarve vayam ataparam, every one of us from this point forward. So, just to give you the full meaning from your books, it should say, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor these rulers of men, nor shall all of us cease to be hereafter. So, just a note here, we see the use of double negatives if you look carefully at the meaning of at the verse itself. So I think it's, it says, never was there a time when I did not exist. Like there's a double negative right in there. So the reason for this is like a more cultural thing, that, kind of enhances the meaning. So it's very common in Indie language to kind of use this double negative in like in the form of it's a very common form of expression. So it may sound awkward in English if you read that meaning, but it's considered like normal. So just to kind of show you this, instead of saying I always exist, here we say there was never a time when I did not exist. So the easier way of saying is like I always exist, you know? It's just like just to make sure you understand what Sri Krishna was trying to say there. So he says the basic misconception is that there's two, that there's I'm the body and then I'm the mind and thoughts. So the question comes is like, are you the body? And then Sri Krishna kind of breaks it down. He says, never indeed was I not there. And then he says, never warriors and kings were not there. And then he breaks it down further. He says, all of us, you, me, all the kings, it's not that we will not be there, meaning we'll always be there. So the body has nothing to do with one's existence, right? The body has birth, death, but we all of us, like the self itself has no birth and death. So before birth, I was there, and then after death, I will always be there. So does that kind of make sense? Like the verse itself is like worded very, it's kind of confusing if you just read it for the first time, but that's kind of what we're trying to get at here. But then we will see this being more clear in terms of what Sri Krishna is trying to say in the upcoming few verses.
Okay, so we'll move on to verse 13. This was a big verse that we spent a lot of time in person talking about. And then we talked about the different stages that we go through, kind of like birth, growth, and then eventually death. So this verse is kind of like an introduction to that, like we talked about. But so let's read it now. देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिर्धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यते. So now we'll break it apart. देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिर्धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यते. Now we'll do it together. देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिर्धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यते.
Okay. So, um, yeah, as we said, we did discuss this verse in depth. So before I kind of, give you the whole summary, can someone remind us of what we kind of discussed in the previous class, in-person class, and like the stages that we wrote down and discussed what each of them were? Because we were given the Sanskrit words and then kind of the explanation for what they were. Anyone? Go ahead. If you know, just unmute. Go ahead, Adda.
Jayate, which means birth.
And then
Um, As Asti. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Astite.
Yeah.
And then
Var Vardate.
Vardate, yeah. And
Yeah.
then
Viparinamate.
yeah. Viparinamate,
Apakshyate.
apakshiyate, and then finally
Nasyate.
nashyate. Yes. So these were the 6 steps of the physical body. We discussed this. Does that ring a bell for everyone? Yes, no? Okay. So basically, what we're trying to say here is that every like human, they pass, as we know, pass through different states. So here we say komaram. So it's, we could think of it as like a child. Um, when you would refer to like someone who's like 12 years, you would refer to them as a boy, so you could think of something similar. So you know how we say like kumar or kumari, like to a young girl or a young boy? It's similar reference to this words, komaram. And this is komara means child stage, right? So and then yavunam, meaning like this youthfulness. That's probably how you translate it into English. And then jara, meaning old age. So we're saying that every embodied person, like human, they pass through these states of childhood and then youth and then finally old age in the body. So similarly after also death and then rebirth. Um, However, a courageous person like Arjun should not be deluded due to this. So as we know, we continue this human evolution through new bodies, and then we also believe in this idea of rebirth, right? Um, so, right, so the human being kind of passes through birth after birth until he or she realizes the truth of the self within. And then we kind of can understand that this process goes on until one kind of burns away their karmas, our fruits of action, in this like how like in this fire of spiritual knowledge. So this reminds me of like the types of shariras we have. We used to discuss that in class before. D does anyone remember what those were? All the old timers should know what I'm talking about.
Three bodies. Anyone?
You could do this with eyes closed. Come on.
Hmm.
No one remembers?
No, I don't.
Isn't it like the gross body, the causal body, and the shuttle body?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Does anyone remember the Sanskrit words for them? Come on, Shivarna, you should know this.
I can't remember the shed Sanskrit names for them, bro. I'm sorry.
Okay. Anyone else? No one? Okay. So we have okay, I'll name you some and then you tell me which one it is. How about the Sukshma Sharira? Does anyone know which one that correlates with in English? I think this is good review. Okay, so I'll just go over it. So we have the Stula Sharira, right? The gross body. And then, which is the physical, the tangible body, right? And then we have the Sukshma Sharira, which is the subtle body. And then finally, we have the Karana Sharira. Remind, that's right? Yeah, and that is the causal body. So the connection I'm trying to make here is like, um, so a subtle body is within us, right? That's what we see from the Gita. So which is called Sukshma Sharira. So um, I'm just trying to see what I was trying to make the connection here with. Right. So there is a subtle body behind this gross body of us, right? So what we understand that is that death is only for the Stula Sharira, right? For this body. The Sukshma Sharira itself does not die. And it's always there, right? The Sukshma Sharira kind of manufactures another gross body for itself to continue its search for his or her true self after death. So in your as you go on. So this verse, I think in your Gita should say, even as the attainment of childhood, youth, and old age is to one in this physical life, so is the change to another body at death for the embodied soul. So wise men are not deluded by this. So Sri Krishna is once again telling Arjuna that you should not be caught up in this idea that you're killing these people because it's only this body that kind of passes away. And it's more clear in the upcoming verses where he kind of clearly states it.
So we'll move on to verse 14. So you can see it's kind of written in a different format if you have like the Big Gita, but it's the same tune. Like you don't have to switch the tune for it. Like how we did last time, you had to switch the tune because it was written in a different way. This one you don't have to change it for. Um, and also like when you're practicing it, you can actually test it out. So you can test out both tunes if you really wanted, and then each of the tunes have like this different syllable count. So you'll see which tune is the right tune based off of the syllable count when you read the verses. So for this one, it'll be the original, the normal way that we do it, okay? Okay. Matra sparshasthu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkadaha agamapayino nityas तं स्थितिक्षस्व भारत मत्र स्पर्शस्तु कौन्तेय शीतोष्णसुखदुःखदः आगमापायिनो नित्यास् तं स्थितिक्षस्व भारत मत्र स्पर्शस्तु कौन्तेय शीतोष्णसुखदुःखदः आगमापायिनो नित्यास् तं स्थितिक्षस्व भारत.
Okay. This is also a very important verse. So I think we kind of discussed the beginning in class in person. But I'll try to kind of summarize a bit of what we said. So the first phrase or like the word we see here is matra sparsha, right? Sparsha means touch, right? And then matra means we kind of said measure like some kind of unit, right, in class, but you can also think of it as like sensory objects, as like it's more contextual in terms of the verse itself. So we can say like when we touch sensory objects, then our sensory system kind of comes in touch with the sensory object. Does that make sense? Like we talked about the sense organs and then the sense like the what do you call it? Like nose, eyes, ears, tongue, skin, and then we kind of talked about Ganda, Rupa, Shabda, and then like Sparsha and Rasha, right? In class. So that's what I'm trying to say. So when our sensory systems, so when we touch the object, our sensory systems comes in touch with the objects. So the word matra is kind of associated with measurements, right? Ma means measure, and it's quite a wonderful word if you think about it. And it's really relatable for most of us who are in school and like, especially in the physical sciences. You kind of see, so the word matra comes from this idea of measurements. And so this is how we come in. So it's saying that this sensory system measures the object that is there. So that is how we come in touch with the world, right? It says matra sparshastu kunteya, contact with sense objects or original. What happens to you thereby? Sometimes it'll give you sensation of cold, sometimes it'll give you sensation of heat, sometimes of pleasure, sometimes of pain, right? That is the nature of contact. So what I just explained is for the phrase shitoshna sukha dukkha. But they are agama payano. They come and they go. They do not persist, right? It's like a flow state. It's like they come and then they go, meaning they're anitya. And it says, if that is so, how shall we react to them properly? Right? That is the question. You're like, wait, hold up. So if they come and they go, how are we supposed to react to them? Sri Krishna says, Tan titiksha bharata, bear with them, O Arjuna. So in this verse, titiksha is a very important word. You might like make a note. I remember, okay, a little insider note. There was a question. I remember when we took a test once upon a time on this chapter. Shari's laughing because we know there was that one short answer question on this word. Um, so, um, where was I? Okay, so this is a very wonderful statement. So it's saying what cannot be cured must be endured, right? That is like the understanding you kind of get from this verse. So let's say if you fall ill, right? You go to the doctor. So the doctor will treat you, but then there's a science about it. But so for you, you are concerned, you kind of cooperate with the doctor. But that is because you have this tremendous determination to kind of bear with it, right? As long as it's there. So tantitiksha, Sri Krishna says, bear with them. And it kind of develops this strength of mind, right? You'll kind of see like multiple times that Sri Krishna will repeat this idea throughout the Gita where he says strength of mind and then the control of the sensory systems are very important for human beings. And so this concept of tantitiksha should bear with them because they're anitya, meaning they're not always there. And we kind of understand that a little patience can kind of bring about a lot of change. And like when we are weak-minded and like let's say the first like upcoming of like unhappy situation kind of break someone down, right? But we should be able to withstand it. So yeah, I just wanted to make note that you kind of marked down what titiksha means here. So yeah. Does anyone have want to say anything, add anything? It could be, I feel like for discussions, you could like kind of put your opinion forward. So it kind of allows us to see what you're having trouble with or what are you kind of understanding. Because when I'm speaking, I'm kind of like explaining my thought process. It's not like I know the meaning of the verses fully. So if we discuss, it's better not only for you, but for the rest of us as well, because we can learn from each other.
I think I'll add something. So, Didiksha, that's one of like the familiar words that you guys should know because that was one of the six treasures that we talked about. Remember the Shat Shampati? So Tidiksha is one of them. And we define it as more of like endurance. And so I think something that all of us can connect on when it comes to like Tidiksha is like if you get like a bad test grade, like or any sort of like failure in your life, the first thing that comes to mind is, usually something negative, like, oh, I failed, or like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna do well in the next one. I mean, it's natural, but when you kind of like manifest like those six treasures. Obviously, like that's the goal to kind of like get that kind of have to like manifest like the six treasures or at least attempt to manifest at least one of them in your life or hold one and then use that as your goal. I think endurance like Tidiksha is an important one because if you have the endurance, this kind of play of like the senses and like just nature because like Adrita explained, and also in the verse, like when objects generate cold and heat, pleasure and pain, those are opposites. You're gonna have opposite pairs, you're gonna have ups and downs in life. But if you have titiksha, which is like that one, I guess, pole standing in between kind of like ups and downs, I think that's also a very important characteristic to have. If you guys want to add anything on, if you agree with me, disagree with me, or with Adrita, you guys should unmute and tell us.
You could always bring up like if you could relate to it, some experiences. Um, because I think this is a very important quality that can kind of guide us in our daily lives, right? This idea or not like this quality could kind of allow us to kind of become not immune, but kind of allow us to adapt to like the fluctuations, in our environment around us, as Ashri was saying. So once again, Sri Krishna is just reminding us to bear with them patiently, right? So, um, yeah, we can. I think that was probably the most important part that at least Oshiri and I took away from the verse.
Okay, so we'll move on to verse 15. Okay, so Adrita will cover the meaning, but I just wanted to say, like, these are all connected verses. So when you kind of understand one of them, you're going to be able to see kind of like the connection or the linkage between these two verses, okay? Okay. Yam hina vyadhyayante te purusham purusharashabhaha samadukha sukham dhiram somritatvaya kalpate. Yam hina vyadhyayante te purusham purusharashabha samadukha sukham dhiram somritatvaya kalpate. Yam hina vyatayante te purusham purusharshapha samadukha sukham dhiram somritatvaya kalpate.
Okay. So this verse is saying, from your Gita, it should say, O leader of men, that enlightened one who is unperturbed alike in pleasure and pain, whom these do not distress, he is indeed worthy of immortality. So once again, it kind of builds off from the previous verse, right? Because it says, he or she who is not thrown down by any of these experiences, meaning when he says experience, he's trying to refer to happiness or misery or cold or heat. It says, sama dukkha sukhaksh no, sama dukkha sukham dhiram. The courageous one who is even-minded in dukkha, meaning grief, and even sukha, meaning happiness. So mritat vaya kalpate. That person alone can achieve immortality, right? He or she can realize the Atman, as we would say, which is immortal. So, um, so once again, he's trying to kind of tell us to become, to kind of be unperturbed, meaning be the same in both happiness as well as sorrow, right? To see both of them as the same and not kind of react to happiness, oh, everything's going well. And as for like sorrow, it's like, oh no, um, it's all going down, right? He's saying those who are able to carry these traits within themselves, they themselves are worthy to kind of be immortal, to understand um, their true nature as the mortal self, the Atman, right? And kind of harvest that for themselves.
So we'll move on to verse 16. नाशतो विद्यते भावो न भावो विद्यते सतः उभयोरपि दृष्टान्तस्तनयसत्त्वदर्शिभिः नाशतो विद्यते भावो न भावो विद्यते सतः उभयोरपि दृष्टान्तस्तनयस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः नाशतो विद्यते भावो न भावो विद्यते सतः उभयोरपि दृष्टान्तस्तनयस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः
Okay. So this verse, in your Gita should say that unreal can never come into existence, the real can never cease to be. The wise philosophers have known the truth about these categories of the real and the unreal. So we see that asat and sat are these words are used in this verse, right? And they can kind of have different meanings in different contexts. But in this context, they mean unreal and real. So it says the word asat means unreal. So the sloka says na sato vidyate bhava, meaning the unreal never is. Similarly, na bhavo vidyate sata, the word non-existent cannot be applied to what is real. And then it's saying the sat is the real, it can never be non-existent. And it's saying we once kind of see this like contradictory verse, like kind of wording in the verse, but at the same time you just have to kind of look at it carefully to see what it's what's trying to be implied in the verse. Does that make sense? Okay.
So now we'll move to verse 17. अविनाशी तु तद्विद्धि येन सर्वमिदं तथा विनाशामव्ययस्य न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति अविनाशी तु तद्विद्धि येन सर्वमिदं तथा विनाशामव्ययस्य न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति अविनाशी तु तद्विद्धि येन सर्वमिदं तथा विनाशमव्ययस्य न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति. And this verse is verse 17.
Yes. So we kind of come to this understanding of from the previous verse, we started kind of discussing what's unreal and real, right? But for us who can barely kind of grasp that death is in the realm of unreality only, how is it possible for us to grasp what is immortality or what in like destructibility is, right? So to help us with that, we kind of began in the last verse with like these explicit statements on what is real and what's unreal, right? And then we continue to discuss on here from then on. So this verse says, know that reality by which everything is pervaded to be indestructible. No one can cause destruction of this immutable being. So to kind of break it down, it's saying, Sri Krishna is saying, consider that which pervades the whole universe as indestructible. Nothing can destroy that reality, right? So this infinite truth, it kind of pervades the whole universe, and things are created and destroyed, but that out of which all this universe comes cannot be destroyed at all. Vinasham, it says, Vinasham, right in your verse, and we kind of discussed in that phrase, like how no one has the power to destroy that indestructible reality behind the universe. And I'm just trying to see if there's an easier way to break down this verse. Right, so that to be indestructible, that is also in this body as the self, the Atman. What is there is also here, right? But only in the human body it can be realized that there's this like uniqueness to like being human being. And so um but this body will not help it to understand the truth. But we kind of break it down in the upcoming verses. It's kind of difficult to explain these verses one at a time because they kind of all like connect from the previous one. Do you guys think it'd be helpful to do it in a different way to kind of understand the verses better? Because I'm not sure if like it's productive for me to just kind of reiterate the meaning of the verses. You know what I'm trying to say? You guys have any suggestions? Like we can do breakout rooms, slides, something along that line. Anyone? Anything? Great. At least not sure. Okay, Yashnil said not sure. Any suggestions? No? Okay. I guess we can continue.
I think the breakout rooms worked well last time.
Yeah, breakout rooms did work great last time. But it was
Everyone really likes it.
yeah, surely because of the assignment. Um, we can go ahead and do breakout rooms again. It's perfectly fine. But if we were to do it on the meaning of the verses, like, do you guys think it would be productive?
What if because it's 10 verses, right? What if we split them into two groups and then one group does the first 5 verses and they try to explain it with their own words, and the other group does the last 5 verses and then they try to explain it.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, and there's 26 people, so 13 in each group.
Mm.
And then if we do like 2 people per verse, that's 10, and then we can just sprinkle the remaining in one verse. So,
Mhm.
so yeah, I'll do 3.
Can we do the first group that gets 5 verses is like oh can we do the first group that gets 5 verses first? Can like share first if we can do that.
Yeah, hmm. We can make this a little more fun too. You can do the wheel.
Yeah.
I have that wheel already, guys.
Yeah. Okay.
It's always there.
Well, we can do this. We'll have people like we'll have like what, two groups of two and then three groups of three if it's 13 people, something like that. I hope
Mhm.
my math's correct. And then we can have the wheel for which no, actually that doesn't make sense. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Something we'll have the wheel. So
It'll probably be just named Team 1 and Team 2. And then you just spin the
yeah,
wheel. Yeah.
it's not as easy because you have to go in order for the verses.
Yeah.
Um, okay, I'm sorry, R3. I don't know what the no is for. Okay. Where were we? Okay, we just finished chapter verse 17. We can go on to 18.
Yeah. So maybe I'll just read it and then you guys will have time to like be in the breakout rooms because that's what you guys want to do.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'll just like quickly read the meaning from the book itself. And then
Yeah.
we can probably spend a few minutes on the last verse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Chanel said he actually loves the wheel.
We all love the
Don't we
wheel.
all? Don't we all? Okay, so we'll go to verse 18. I'll do it twice then. So you guys have more time to do the breakout rooms because everyone's looking forward to that. Okay. अन्तवन्त इमे देहा नित्यशुक्ता शरीरिणः अनाशीन प्रमेयस्य तस्मद्युध्यस्व भारत अन्तवन्त इमे देहा नित्यशुक्ता शरीरिणः अनाशीन प्रमेयस्य तस्मद्युध्यस्व भारत. Should I do 19 and 20 and then just kind of, or Aditya, you want to say anything about the verse?
I mean, I'll just read the meaning from the book.
Okay.
So this verse is saying, what is set to perish are these bodies, right? In which the imperishable and the unlimited spirit is embodied. So therefore, Fidos Gion of the Purda race. So as we said in the previous verses, like this body, and there's like the Atman within, but the body is what perishes, and the Atman does not. So it'll become more clear as to what Sri Krishna is kind of trying to say in the upcoming verses.
Okay, verse 19. यायेनं वेत्ति हन्तारं यश्चैनं मन्यते हतम् उभौ तौ न विजानीत नयं हन्ति न हन्यते यायेनं वेत्ति हन्तारं यश्चैनं मन्यते हतम् उभौ तौ न विजानीत नयं हन्ति न हन्यते.
Okay, so this verse is saying, he who thinks himself, thinks him, the self, to be the killer, and who experiences him, the self, as the killed, both of them know not. He, the self, neither kills and nor is killed. Okay, so this is getting very philosophical. It's a very interesting verse, but I think I'll leave it up to whoever gets that slide.
Okay, and then we'll move on to verse 20. Okay, you can draw a star next to this one because we switched tunes for this one, okay? So now that you see that it's broken up in a different way, that's when you know you have to switch to the other tune, okay? Okay, so verse 20. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन् नयं भूत्वा भवितवा न भूय अजो नित्यशश्वतयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमने शरीरे. So I'll break it apart and then you guys repeat and then we'll do it together. So this one we'll do 3 times. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन् नयं भूत्वा भवितवा न भूय अजो नित्यशाश्वतयं पुराणं न हन्यते हन्यमने शरीरे न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन्नयं भूत्वा भवितवा न भूयः अजो नित्यशाश्वतयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमने शरीरे.
Okay. So this verse says, He the self has neither birth nor death, nor does he cease to be, having to be in existence before, unborn, eternal, permanent, and primeval. He is never killed when the body is killed. Okay, so Loki, like the last three verses all feel like they're saying the same thing, but there's subtle differences. So there's a reason why they're separate verses. So wait, since everyone's very excited about the wheel, we can spend about 10 minutes if anyone wants to do these verses to see how they're doing with pronunciation.
Okay, does anyone want to volunteer to read any of the verses that we've done just now?
No thanks. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Is that a no to the wheel or no to the verses? Both. Okay. Is that the majority vote?
I'm pretty sure it's not. You might be the outlier there, Yashnil.
Okay. Silence is agreement, guys, here. So if you disagree, speak up, or else we'll take the silence as agreement. So
Any
let's
volunteers to read any verses?
hold up. I got you guys. We can do volunteers.
Yeah. And if not, I guess everyone's just waiting for those breakout rooms.
I mean, yeah, sure, we can do that. I can split them up. Wheel would be perfect. Okay.
Wait, my little brother wants to do number 19.
Well,
Okay, yeah, Shauna, go ahead.
야에는 빛, 야에는 빛한드랑, 야자에는 만त्या.
Wrong tunes.
Yeah. 야에는 빛이 한다랑, 야자남 야자남 만나야 사장, 우바우다나 비잔도 이도, 나야 한디나 한여대.
Okay, good. That's the right tune. Okay, so there's one word, Shanath, okay? Yasjainam, can you say that?
야시nam
Manyate
만여대
khatam.
하담.
Okay, then ubhoto
우바우도
na bijanito
나 비자니도
nayam hanti
나야 만디
nahanyate.
나하니어대.
Yeah. And the tune that you did after, that's the right tune. The first one is for verse 20, okay? Okay, good. Thank you. Any other volunteers? Anyone want to try a verse?
okay. I mean, if anything, while they're explaining the verses, they'll have to read it anyways, right?
That's true, yeah.
Okay. So let's do this.
Wait, could you go over verse 11 like real quick? I'm a little confused on like the how do you say it,
Okay.
if that's okay.
Yeah. Verse 11, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to say it and then you repeat after me?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Ashuchanan vashochastvam
Ashochan anvashocastvam
pragyavadamscha bhashashe.
Brajnavadamscha bhashashe.
So for that word, it's gonna be pragya. So you
Oh,
wouldn't say like the J it would kind of be like a G, like pragya vadamscha bhashashe.
okay. Pragyavadamscha bhashashe.
Good. Gatasuna gatasumscha.
Gatashun agat ashumscha.
Good. Nanushocanti panditaha.
Nanushochanti pandita.
Good. Do you want to do it one time by yourself?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Ashochan anvashochastwam. Pragyavadamscha bhashashe. Gatashun agatashumscha. Nanushochanti pandita.
Good. Thank you. Anyone else? If you have questions about the verse too. Okay, Arthit says no. Arthit, you want to try a verse? You sure? Okay, we'll hear from you next time. Um, okay.
I
I
guess
guess
when we're doing the slides, those who did not chant, it's suggested that they are the ones. So what should the format of the slides be? So
I think we shouldn't do them. I think they should do it. I think they should choose. We'll be there.
okay.
One person from their group. They're going to do the slides, and then you guys are going to talk about it because we've talked a lot. I feel like Amrita and I are basically the ones talking, you know? So we want to hear you. We want to hear your thoughts, and that's why you're going to make the slides. We're not going to do anything. We're going to be like a group member for you guys. And you guys are going to
Yeah.
talk about what you understand, and then you guys choose amongst yourselves who wants to present and then all that. But for the format, I guess, do you want to do like out of the five, three that stood out, kind of like what they do for journals? Or do you want to do like all five of them and then
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
because five is a lot, and a lot of
Five
them
is
are
a
kind
lot.
of repetitive. Like the
Yeah.
meaning kind of
So
means the same.
should we assign one verse to each?
Mm, like one per group, or like they choose out of the five.
If they choose out of the five, it's gonna be repetitive. Like one could get left out.
Mm.
I don't know. Um, Wait, so how many breakout rooms are we creating?
Um, do you want to do two, or how many people are?
The wheel would make sense. No.
We're gonna use the wheel eventually when you're presenting.
I'm
Not
asking
the
to use
wheel.
the wheel to like pick the person answering the question.
Oh, you want to do that?
Do what?
It's like everyone's name is gonna be on the wheel, and then you spin it, and then like whoever like gets like chosen, they have to like explain the verse. But I think you guys should work in a group first, and then
Yeah, okay, so I that's what I was also thinking about shoe partner. So I make 10 breakout rooms. It will assign you
10
guys
breakout rooms.
if they want to talk within themselves, you know what I'm trying to say?
Okay, yeah.
Um, and then you and I can pop in and out of all.
Okay.
So we'll make 10 breakout rooms. It'll assign you automatically, meaning we have no say in who's in which group. So you'll figure it out. And then I think there's a button. 6 to 7 groups are better. 10 groups, one verse per. I don't know what you're trying to say.
I think he means like if there's 10 groups, there's 10 verses, and then each group has a verse. So I guess each verse will have a slide.
Yeah.
But
Do you-
that's like, how many people are we? 22 people? That's like two people per group. You're gonna have to be talking to like one other person.
okay, how about 5 groups, 2 verses per group?
Okay.
5 groups, 2 verses per group. I don't know how many people are going to be there, but like,
You-
so if you're in breakout room one, it would be verses 1 and 2. Breakout room two, two.
Three
You
and four.
you guys get it, right? You guys get the point? We'll pop it in and out. Okay, so oh, the issue is that Oshri and I might be placed in.
Yeah, I don't think I can jump in and out.
It's okay. I can make you a co-host real quick. Hold up. So I'll make you a co-host real quick, and then I will just reorder everything once. Okay. So we should be able to do that now.
Mhm.
Do not include. Okay, so you and I are not going to be included now.
Okay. So
Oh,
that's
perfect.
perfect. Well, that's 20 people, yeah.
Okay,
20
so
people.
people will be 4 people per group and then 2 verses per group. So you guys, that's an even split. And we will be back at what? 10:45?
Yeah,
10:40?
that works.
10:40?
10:40 is good, yeah.
I think 10:40 is good. Okay.
Yeah.
So 10:40 and then I'll
So
pop it out to make sure that everyone is doing the right verses.
yeah. It's 5 groups, right?
5 groups.
Okay. I'm gonna get that
Wait,
wheel ready, guys.
wait. We'll be in the main room, so we can talk.
Okay.
Okay.
How are
I'm
we
waiting.
spending 35 minutes? You guys are gonna be talking and making a slide for the 2 verses that you
Okay.
guys are split into, okay?
These are interesting groups.
Oh, how interesting.
Interesting.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I think there's someone in there that can do work for each group,
Okay.
except one group. I don't know. Okay, no comments. We'll start. I'll open the rooms, and if you guys need help, there should be a option to call the host into the room. So, okay?
Wait, what?
Do you need help, Ishan?
Wait, why is there? Wait, what are we doing?
You want to explain it, Sherry?
So we're doing breakout rooms. Did you see anything pop up on your screen?
No.
Okay, I'm going to. Oh, wait.
Who's iPad 3?
Move to. Um, hmm. How do I add Ishan to the group? Is that possible?
It is. Um, I have to move him to a different one and then move him back
Yeah.
when he was in. Okay, so I'll move you back. Ishan, you should have a room now. It should say join, so join it. Hi, Namrata. And who's iPad 3?
That's my brother.
Oh, okay. Were you guys here when we were did you guys just join? I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're doing breakout rooms and then the verses that were assigned for this week, you guys will kind of break up and then um discuss and like kind of make slides about them, okay? So I guess I can put you guys in. Should I put both of them in the same?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Can you
Or
see my
wait,
groups?
because I moved Sharika to room 2 because she was unassigned. So that's like 5 people. Um, do you want to add? Okay, Shupon is in that group. I think they're fine. 4 and 5 are fine. Winmish is in room 3.
Okay.
I think room 1 needs someone.
Yeah, I think both of them should just go to
Room 1.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so all the breakout rooms should be closed in 3 seconds. 2, 1. Okay, awesome. We're done. So everyone should be back. And we shall get started. We might go over a few minutes if that's all right with you guys. Okay. So
I think everyone will have fun.
doing Sherry.
And here's our wheel. Okay, wait, let me
Yippee!
share computer sound.
No.
Oh, how do
I
I
like this.
share the sound.
I think you have to share it before you, like when you go screen share and then you like choose something and I think you just have to sh click share sound.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see. Cool. What? Install computer audio?
Do you want me to do it?
Works. There you go.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Okay, guys, ready? I'm gonna spin the wheel. We have 5 teams. Okay.
This will totally be in
Team
order.
won.
Please no.
This is gonna be in order. Watch it.
Go ahead, guys.
Okay, I'll prevent.
Okay.
Why team one?
Wait, you guys can see my screen? Okay, so we did verses 11 to 12. We went over the key words and we also went over like the essence of the definition in our own words. So, does anybody from my group wanna read it? Okay, no. Kinesia, you wanna read it? No? I'll just read it, bro. So we have Asuchan, meaning those not to be grieved for. Anivasocha, you grieve, and then I don't know why I put the whole thing, but Prajnavarams, meaning you speak words of wisdom. Katasun, the dead. Agatasun, the living. And Na Anusochanti, do not grieve. Does anybody want to read this for my group? No? Okay, so I'll read it. Na to Evaham, meaning never was there a time I did not exist. Na ime Janadipa, meaning nor these rulers are men. Vayam Sarve, all of us, and Bhavisyam shall cease to exist. And we also have Atta Param in the future. We went over the definition of verse 11 and we put in our own words. What we got from it was Krishna tells Arjuna that he is grieving for people who should not be mourned. Although Arjuna speaks as a wise person, truly wise do not feel sorrow for either the living or the dead, because the soul beyond birth and death. And then for us in verse 12, we found Krishna explained that there was never a time when he, Arjuna, or any of the warriors did not exist, and they will never stop existing in the future. The soul is eternal, meaning it will always lives and it will never end. Does
Good.
yeah.
Really
Thank you.
good, guys.
Good.
Yeah. So next group up. Oh, any questions? Any comments? Any concerns? So are we all good for verses 11 and 12? Yeah. So if this comes up on an exam once up sometime in the upcoming future, you guys are all good?
Yes.
Awesome.
What should be team 2 now?
Yeah, let's see. See what she has up her sleeves.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, it's not.
Oh.
It's team 4. Okay,
All right.
it's 2-4.
I'll share my screen. Okay. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
It's visible? All right, good. So we did verses 17 and 18. In my group, we had obviously me, my little brother, Aditya, Adya, and Bidushmita. So I'm gonna invite Adya to discuss verse 17 for our group.
Okay, first I'm gonna chant it. अविनाशी तु तद्विधि येन सर्वमिदं ततं विनाशम् अव्ययस्यस्य न कश्चित् कर्तुम् अर्हति. So like the meaning of verse 17 basically refers, like they first say reality, and we thought that reality refers to the Atman or the soul, which also refers to the subtle body, which is basically the soul. In this verse, it talks about how the soul is indestructible, and it connects to the idea of reincarnation as the soul moves on from one body to another. So and then Sri Krishna, he also describes the soul as immortal, and he says that nothing can destroy it. Um, so like basically, and then he connects that to and he says to Arjuna that he's not technically killing his relatives, he's just destroying his gross body. Also this can also connect to a diamond, as it's indestructible and it's like the strongest material and it's like really valuable, as the soul also is like has those descriptions.
Thank you, Adya. I'd like to invite Bilushmita to read the verse, and then Aditya and her will both split up the meanings.
Antavanta ime dehat nityasota saririna anasina prameyasya tatmanjusa sisa bhajata.
I'll explain the information that we got for verse 18. So, first, Sri Krishna explains that the soul is indestructible, so there's no reason to be scared for killing your loved ones in the battle. The soul will always be there. So, the soul will always like just because one body leaves, let's say like that, that doesn't mean the soul will pass on to somebody else or somebody else in another life. Repeating and adding on to what is being discussed in previous verses. This is verse 18 is just being added to, and like we're repeating a lot of stuff since there's a lot of things that were used in verse 17 as well.
So, um, so we're referring the body as gross, so it's the gross body being thrown away. And the word gross is referring to its destructible state. And it's representing how the body can be thrown away at any moment of time. And we compared the gross body to coal, as is disposable, releasable, or easy to find.
Thank you guys. And we'll be finishing off with like a couple takeaways from our discussion. So we pretty much, to sum it up, we know that the soul is imperishable and the body is disposable. The soul can be compared to a diamond because of its abundance and because of its low abundance, sorry, and its low abundance and its pretty much indestructibility. Whereas the coal is common, easy to find, and it can be disposed or burned away at any moment, referring to the gross body, where it's like its disposability or its grossness or its like to its how the word gross is used in a derogatory term to describe like trash or anything that you throw away pretty much. Like if you see something gross, obviously you're gonna want to throw it away. Same thing applies to the gross body where it's easy to be thrown away, whereas the subtle body is always gonna be there. And that pretty much sums it up.
Thank you. I really liked the analogy that you used, like with the diamond and the coal. I think that was a good analogy, like the soul and I think our like gross body is compared to the coal. I think it was good.
Okay, let's use up next.
Okay. Team 2.
I'll screen share it.
Just to make sure it's not confusing for you guys that it's out of order, right? No?
Shouldn't be, no.
Okay, awesome.
Uh, what's up, can you guys
Okay,
see it?
so 6 people in our group.
So, we're going to be doing chapter 2, verses 13 and 14. And the people that contributed to this are Ishan Mitra, Sharika Karmaka, Yashnil Mitra, Arti Dash, me, and my sister. Yeah. I'm going to be reading the verse for the, chapter 2, verse 13. Tahinasminyata dehe kamaramya vanamja tata dehantara praptir tirasta namuyati. And
So for the meaning, we wrote that phases of body are always changing, toddler, teenager, and adult. Even if body changes, wise people are not afraid for death. They know and accept it's another phase of life. Soul will not, and the soul will not die.
I'm going to read verse 14. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkada agamapayino nityata stitikshasva bharata. And then Yashnil, read the meaning.
So the meaning of verse 14 is that there will be ups and downs in life. We will face good and bad scenarios through our senses. Everything is temporary, and so we must just deal with everything as it comes.
and that's the end of our presentation. Thank you.
That was really good. Uh, yeah. Really loved how you guys broke it down. Presentation was amazing. Um, the slide design was good. Um, so who's next?
We have 2 more teams. So basically, this last one is going to be our last spin, and then we'll see who's going next and then who's going last, okay? Okay, so team 5, and then team 3 will go last, okay? So team 5, go ahead.
All right, I'll share my screen. Can you guys see it? Oh, okay. I assume you guys can see it. Okay. So we'll have Shatavik like reading the verse for 19.
Ya inam veti hantaram, yaschana manyate hatam, abato na vijanito, nayam hanti nahanyate.
So basically for verse 19, it really just shows the difference between the body and the soul. It basically shows that the body cannot get harmed as it cannot kill or do the killing, but the soul, it just cannot get hurt since there's a difference between the body and the soul. We can further elaborate on this because Krishna in this verse is basically telling Arjuna that the soul isn't affected by physical actions. When we talk about killing or dying, we are only talking about the body. The true self inside is untouched. So Krishna is trying to shift Arjuna's understanding. Instead of seeing the battle as destroying lives, he wants Arjuna to see that the soul cannot get harmed at all.
Does anyone want to read verse 20? Or you know what else? Read it. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूय अजो नित्यशाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. All right, so for this verse, it kind of just like Sri Krishna further expands and elaborates from verse 19. And it just explains how like the self has no beginning and no end, and how the real self doesn't go through any changes. And when I speak of changes, I mean like growth, decay, or death. And he brings up the idea of how like the body is like the only thing that is born and like that dies, and the Atman doesn't. When we talk about the self, and through this verse, Sri Krishna basically tries to explain to Arjuna and that the body doesn't perish. Like even if the bodies perish in the battle, it doesn't harm or affect one's true self, which is basically Datman. Yeah, so that would conclude our presentation. Yeah.
Really good on the verses. Really good pronunciation. Um, and the meanings were nicely explained as well. So we should do the last spin.
Okay. So, we totally don't know what team is gonna go up next, but
No, really?
I wonder who's gonna go next.
right?
Okay, okay,
No wonder.
okay.
Let's wait for this wheel to go.
Uh,
I wonder.
Oh my God, it's team three. Team three, go ahead.
all right, I'll show. Okay, so yeah, this presentation was done by me, Arshi and Ari and Arshi, Bornelli and Kushan, although Kushan had to leave early. So essentially we focused on verses 15 through 16 and interpreted their meanings. So for verse 15, here's some keywords for the meanings. So samadukashukam, essentially unperturbed by pleasure and pain. Dhiram yam purusham, enlightened one whom na vyatayanti, does not distress. Kalpati, he is fit indeed, and amritatvaya, for immortality. So to summarize, what we interpreted this meaning to be for verse 15 is that one who's like not ever attached to emotions, is not swayed by them, was like worthy, is will achieve like peace and immortality. So they call it, which is like liberation from cycle of birth and death. So we have some bullet points that expand on this, but that was like the summarization of this. So we'll go to verse 16 now. Some keywords, since this verse focuses a lot on unreal and real. So the summarized meaning of this is that which is unreal is that which always changes, and only that which has never changed is like always constant, and only that is real. And the truly wise ones can always tell the difference between this. So as you can see, more bullet points, but this was just the summarized meaning of this. So that concludes our presentation.
Very well done. Um, so that concludes the presentations for today.
Did everyone have fun?
Yeah.
You should have done the wheel. Next time we have to do the wheel. I call.
Okay, so they love the wheel.
Yes, don't love the wheel.
I always get outvoted. That's not very nice.
Okay, so if you guys like the wheel, what we can do next time is maybe spend 30 minutes on us explaining the verses, or Sherry and I, and kind of going through it. And then for the next 30 minutes, we can kind of spend spinning the wheel and just practicing. Does that sound good? Cold calling? I think it sounds good to me, Sherry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I think
then
that's what everyone wants, you know?
Yeah, like you get practice out of it, and it kind of keeps you on your toes. In a good way, in a good way. And then we can spend the next like 30, 40 minutes on some type of presentation. Does that sound good? And then we can spend the last 20 minutes presenting like today. Does that sound like a good plan for the upcoming classes? Yes, is that a sweet spot for everyone?
I guess so. Yeah.
Reactions on Zoom?
Put that thumbs up if you think that's a good idea.
Oh, I like that. Okay, a lot of thumbs up. Okay, awesome. Okay, so yeah, sorry we went over a bit like 10 minutes over, but should we do the concluding prayer?
Yeah. Does anyone want to do concluding prayer? Adna, yeah, go ahead.
Could you put up the prayer sheet?
Oh, okay, give me 1 second.
Do you have a question, Aditya?
Can I try to do it as well? Or
Um, oh, she, Aditi wants to do it as well, so.
I can
Um,
do it, but like I was wondering if we both can or
on Zoom it might be a little hard because
okay.
it won't. But Aditri, the next time
Yeah,
that we have class like online, you can do it, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
maybe we can have a sign-up list of some sort. Like,
Okay.
That seems a bit complex.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Bhumimangalam, Bhumimangalam, Udakamangalam, Udakamangalam, Agnimangalam, Agnimangalam, Vayumangalam, Vayumangalam, Gaganamangalam, Gaganamangalam, Suryamangalam, Suryamangalam, Chandramangalam, Chandramangalam, Dehamangalam, Dehamangalam, Manomangalam, Manomangalam, Jivamangalam, Jivamangalam, Atmamangalam, Atmamangalam, Sarvamangalam, Bhavatu, 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 Sarvamangalam, Bhavatu, Bhavatu, Bhavatu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat, Srimacharnarvanamastu.
Pranam.
Oh, one last thing. I think Oshina forgot to say this last class. You guys can choose a favorite character of yours. Um, from chapter one, right? That was we meant forgot to mention that at the end of last online class. And maybe do some research and talk about them. Maybe we can spend a little time on the next class sometime, something like that.
Like
Yeah.
a presentation or
Not a presentation, maybe something like 2 to 3 minutes, like speaking.
oh yeah.
Like because remember that really long list that we made last time? We split the even and odd verses, and then we found like a bunch of characters.
Yeah.
So out of those characters, if you find a name interesting, if you find any character interesting, choose that character and then kind of like look into it, research it. And then if you can write a little bit about, or like if you take notes, right? And then the next time we have a discussion, if we have time, we can talk about those characters.
Okay. So do we just pick one? Or
Yeah, you just pick one.
okay.
The list should be on the YouTube video from the last previous online class. I'll put the link in the chat for
I'll check it out. I
This-
have the channel name. I subscribed.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
If you haven't, you guys should do that too. But yes, all the like today's slides, there are a lot of them, so they're a bit hard to email everyone. So you guys can always go on today's live and kind of check that out.